Started off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up. Surfing on the web and I'm shooting at 3. I've been goated when I got my G. I'm an alien boy from a different planet, yeah. So I got my drink, I'm riding in the 1920s Model T Ford. Call her Era Lord. Call me Levi, playing on the keys, boy. And I'm about to put my gloves on. If I said it, then I meant that. Yeah, I like that one, I'm about to get that. Crash that whip for the drumsticks, whiplash. I'm about to get them all. Are you with that? In a white boat, surrounded by blue. I want one, but I got a cop too. I wanna fly high in the sky, arms out wide, trying to soar from a bird's eye view. I'm on fire, Ricky, Bobby, cracking the pavement, Whitney, Bobby. I'm a Saki bomb, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Bruce Wayne been a dog, and I keep it 101, cause I'm feeling kinda spotty. You sipping on some rock, and I'm sipping on octane. The only thing around my neck is the blockchain. Now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
NFT, Twitter, blockchain. Seeing with the ghosts and we ballin' like the Brown James. Crypto. We can make a trade, get the memo. Reviews not falling for the FOMO. Listening to Coffee with Captain. You know we worldwide, they loco. I ain't never gonna stop rapping. Orlando, yeah, we working magic. We rocking Ethereum entities. I just went and caught me a half base. Man, I got a shout out
Started
to
off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
Freaking the mood to choose one, but they got knowledge to move, son. I'm shocking in shades with my brother in suits, yeah, them blues is coming. Even though it's hard to pick, eeny, mighty, mo, soda on the mix, no biting lips, it's time to go. Index number 1, no thumbs up, you gotta scroll. Looking at the ghost in studio, it's time to go. Had a helmet on by myself until I met a mask that wanted to have a face off. Had to bring my chainsaw, full tank of gas in the drive with my brakes off. I'm A1, but a different kind of steak sauce.
Welcome to Coffee with Captain, powered by ApeCoin, where we dive into all things crypto, NFTs, Web3, and cutting-edge technology. Remember, nothing here is financial advice. Early-stage tech can be exceptionally volatile and risky. So grab your coffee and join Cap and Steve for today's conversation.
Welcome to the future.
Welcome to Coffee with Captain GM. Thanks so much for joining us. Already done so. Do us a favor, drop us a GM in the chat down below. Then head up top, smash that like, repost, and bookmark on today's space. We would greatly appreciate it. It does us a solid and warms up the room. Chat's popping off already. Abstract chat. I tried to be the first tipper over there at 69 Pingo, which is now up over 250, but Rocky beat me to it with a big $5 tip on Steve's account today. We're also live on Steve's X, as well as the YouTube streets. I just grabbed that link. I will pin that up top here in a second. We're in a race to beat Son Frontin, Von something, whatever we're calling him. He's running laps around us on the YouTube subscribers. So if you haven't already done so,
we're doing the Skip Bayless. We're calling him Son Von Fronten. We're going with that. Son Von Fronten. Yeah, we're just gonna Son Von Fronten son maybe is what we'll go with.
Son of Von Fronten.
Yeah.
Von Fronten the third. But in all seriousness, as always, I'm Captain McCoy, Steve. Never any financial advice in the show. Crypto is risky, NFTs risky, meme coins exception risky. Go to zero to moment's notice. Please don't put any money you can't afford to lose. Know that Steve and I hold tokens we'll talk about from time to time here in the show. We are not financial advisors. Sure that your financial advisors. Don't join us for that. Just join us for some fun, some information, education along the way. GM Steve, how you doing, sir?
GM, doing quite well actually. Just market's cooling off a little bit, but feeling pretty good about my overall situation. As far as my allocations go, I mean, look, like it's a good time to be in crypto, period. Like it's just, I was looking this morning and I know this is the boring stuff, but I mean, JP Morgan offering crypto loans, like things like that, like are loans against crypto for a group that, like, I'm old enough to remember Jamie Dimon fudding crypto and calling it a pet rock and saying it's money laundering. Yeah. January last year. And
I would have guessed fall Q4. I would have guessed like December or something. It seems like it wasn't even that long ago.
Yeah. So, I don't know. My Billy Betts account been doing pretty well. I've been cleaning up there, following Billy's leads as well. For those of you who are in Billy, by the way, make sure you check their announcement to migrate over. They're moving to base, so you have a little bit of time to do that. But yeah, give us a like or retweet a comment on the room. Slower warm up this morning, but we got Think coming on in a little bit here. We're going to be talking to AI and kind of what they're building with Freedom to Think. Couple topics to discuss today again as the market cools off, but we'll cover that in the daily market update. But yeah, I was just laughing this morning when I read, like, every time I read a JP Morgan headline, I just think, like, man, like, I try to figure out, is it that these guys are trying to curry favor with whoever the current administration is? Is it they see where the money's going and now they have the opportunity to do so? Is it all of the above? Because for JP to aggressively say that, it's like,
I think it's it's the defense. Like, they were defensive. They wanted to protect their entrenched position and in the financial world and not let something new come in and disrupt them. Now it's went past that point, and I think they're, like, I don't like Diamond either, but these are people of high intellect. These are educated individuals, and I will give them credit that they're smart enough to realize now that they lost. And if it's like, you can get on board and embrace this new technology and this new financial landscape, or get left in the dust. So it's like, I don't blame them. I wholeheartedly understand why they fought it for so long, but they just can't fight it anymore. And now it's like, you're just going to see everyone get on board. They have to. Otherwise, they're going to be at a significant competitive disadvantage. So it's like, yeah, it's almost like, I don't know. It's not lobbyists, but it's almost like they're going to beat whatever drum benefits them the best, and probably beneficial for them for crypto never to exist would be their ideal dream scenario. But it's not only does it exist, it's given their competitors advantages. So it's like, I think they basically have to throw up the white towel and say, hey, we surrender. We're on board. We're going to, participate in this. We couldn't throttle it. We couldn't hold it back. We couldn't prevent it from happening. And so now we better get on board.
Yeah, it's funny. It's almost like Cathie Wood knew what she was talking about 18 months ago, or 2 years ago at this point, I think, at Consensus, when we went in Austin. And she had made the comment where she was like, look, at some point, people are going to put Bitcoin in a portfolio or in their offerings, and they're going to outperform. And the big institutional clients who are paying attention are going to say, why don't you have Bitcoin in your offerings? Because right now it's just outperforming everything. And it's like, here we are. Right. And so it's funny because it is still early, because, again, like, you still traditionally talk to people, and it's not like the average person is going and buying crypto on Coinbase. The average person isn't going and buying the ETFs. So it's still, like, plenty early. I'm so excited for, again, 2 years from now, when I have people in my friends group being like, yo, have you checked out these Bitcoin ETFs? Bitcoin's underpriced at $300,000 or whatever it is at that point. It's going to be pretty funny to see. But no, it's just, to your point, like, they're protecting their castle, but also, like, I do think there's probably something about currying favor with the current administration. And if we had, like, I'm not, like, this isn't a political statement, because I'm not, like, in favor of a lot of things on either side, for that matter. I'm very politically homeless as far as, like, it goes. But, like, if we had a different election result, we wouldn't be here, because there was an anti-crypto sentiment. It was cryptos for money laundering. It was, and now suddenly it's like technology, innovation. And I had this conversation actually with a normie friend of mine over the weekend, a good guy who's kind of interested in this stuff. And I said, look, like, America doesn't lead the way in America leads the way in certain things. Like, there's certain things America does and certain things America doesn't lead the way in, and certain things it won't lead the way in. Technology is one of the things we can lead in. Like, look at the top companies in the world. Look at NVIDIA. Look at Meta. Look at Google. You can go down and on and on and on. There's a reason why America is crushing it with big tech right now. This is the next wave of tech. And so my perspective on this wasn't, like, necessarily bag pumping. My perspective on this is, as a country, and we're creating jobs and moving things forward, like, AI and crypto are important here. And finally seeing that sentiment shift, I think, is an important thing. So just seeing them come around is funny to me. I don't know, man. It's a funny swing around to see, because it's just how quickly it happened, I guess. 18 months from sitting in Davos saying, it's a pet rock. It's for money laundering. It's for fraud. It's for crime. And then 18 months later being like, hey, we'll give loans against these things. We're exploring blockchain technology. And it's hilarious to me to see that to see that they're thinking that way. Oh, we might use the infrastructure. Oh, you know what? Stable coins, we really like those. It's like you were slamming this 18 months ago. So, we shall see, but definitely a good sentiment moving forward. It was just one of the things that my this morning that I think is like a boring thing most people won't care about, but I think it just is a huge canary in the coal mine in a positive way, because canary in the coal mine obviously is negative, but like huge, I should say, forward-looking indicator that everybody is getting ready to just bend the knee, capitulate, and call it a day on crypto from where they used to be. So,
you know who I think wins off of that?
Who's that?
I think ETH is the big winner.
So you think it's so funny because
all the stablecoin business is done on ETH or L2s. Like that's what makes for the banks to protect their. I mean, really, their business model, for them to protect their deposits, for them to protect their processing, like they're going to have to play the stablecoin game. And I don't see big banks making substantial investments into that division of their company, making substantial investments into this infrastructure, into their holdings, and not holding ETH reserves. I think because of how the network is built, because how it's secured, I think I think some banks will have in their bylaws that like, okay, we're going to do this, but part of our self, requirements are we have to hold X percentage of ETH for every X dollars of stables we hold. Like I think the building takes place on ETH. I think some of them will launch their own L2s on ETH, and I can't connect all the dots how that value accrues back to the underlying native token, but I think over the long term it wins. It wins. I mean, it's what's going to happen when word gets out that all these banks are getting into the stablecoin business, when they're all building on ETH or ETH layer 2. It's just like those who like, fuck, shoot, man, we're here. I don't fully understand exactly how the value accrues, but I still am bullish on the underlying native token. I think there's a lot of people in TradFi, a lot of people elsewhere that'll be like, oh, Ethereum, that's where all the banks are building. That's where all the transacting's taking place now. And I know this is like all the XRP fanboys and everyone is like, no, that's not going to be. I think this is going to be a stable coin world, predominantly transacting on Ethereum layer 2s.
Yeah, I think so too. And it's funny because Diego says ETH is expensive, L2s are not established, maybe abstract and base in the future. I think companies will build their own L2s.
No chance Solana's winning this.
Yeah, he said I see Solana winning. I don't think so. I think I
don't
know.
They're not centralized. Like they are centralized rather. Like it's too risky for an institution to take on that kind of risk. Like no chance it happens. Yeah. I mean, unless they're like one of the VCs that's stands to win big on Solana. Like Solana's a VC chain. Like it's not almost zero chance that the stablecoin explosion takes place on Solana. I don't see it happening at all.
Yeah, they're still playing the meme game too. Like, I mean, that's the other thing. They're still playing the meme game, right? It's like that's what Solana wants to do, which we'll get to Pump Fun in a minute. Where, like I think Pump Fun is one of the rare situations where I think all takes are theoretically right on all sides of this, which is hilarious. It just depends on your time frame, which is amazing. I actually, it's perfect because I think I think we see a lot of like, I was right. And it's actually kind of everyone was right here in their approach. It just depended how you approach things and what your time horizon was, which is not a sexy take for the timeline. It's fun to say you were wrong, I was right, but it was...
I actually, not to keep disagreeing with Diego, but I actually think L2s are established. Like Abstract's new, base is pretty established, well respected. I mean, it's created by a publicly traded company. You've got their competitor Robinhood launching an L2 on ETH. So there's the two major publicly traded financial institutions that are launching an ETH layer 2, or one already has. You also have Optimism, which base is built on. You have Arbitrum. These are really established layer 2s. You've got, I mean, shoot, man, look at Polygon, Flow. Like there's major businesses being built out on those two.
Disney is on chain. Disney. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Base
It's
app
just
is
like,
not respected. Base respected, base app not so much. It's just a train wreck. Like, I'm sorry, I said it in set in order. They need to fire Jesse. Like the guy is like they are running amok. I actually got excited for Coinbase's announcement last week. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is it. You launch an app where you're making everyone coin every message. Like it's just
I said
who's
this before.
going to use this? Like it's just like it's such a bad idea. Like who thought this was a good idea, Steve?
This is
anyone, I haven't seen even one positive take on it. That's alarming in crypto. Usually you at least have fanboys and girls that will just pump whatever because they're bag biased. But man, I haven't seen a single bullish take on the base app. All I've seen is people just dunking on it and saying how dumb it is. And I don't know what they're doing over there. But I think Jesse is trying to force like base to become like a Solana and it's just like, dude, that's not it. You don't have to do that. Like, what are you doing, man? There's none of my normie friends want to come on chain so they can create a meme coin every time they post something. Get out of here.
Yeah, so a lot of thoughts on this. I have seen some positive sentiment because there is a base community that exists out there that likes it. There is yeah, it is no. I mean, there's real people. It's like funny, like the communities. Like I'm wearing my VFriends sweatshirt today and got my VFriends hat in the mail. I'll probably tweet about that later today, which I love their stuff. And it's like VFriends is like similar in a way on a smaller like version where VFriends is, a community that you don't necessarily see as much of. And then you join it. You're like, oh my God, there's a million of these people. Similarly, like there is a ton of base people. There's a whole base community. There's whole base podcasts. There's base content. They're on, traditional media. The problem is, to me, here's the problem with base app is, and if you want, I mean, Brooks been bullish on it. So if you want to give Brooks take to give the other side, go for it. Then I'll give
bullish at all. She's not bullish at all on it.
Oh, she was initially. She was giving base.
No, it's just like absolutely. I mean,
I haven't seen this. I've seen this. I've seen it previously.
$65 yesterday from posting a video, but I didn't get paid like a creator. I cashed out the token. At its peak, my wallet balance was around $185, but people started dumping, and I was only able to grab $65 before the pool drained. So how's this supporting me? They weren't tipping me. They were flipping a coin with my name on it. I realized I got micro payments from transaction fees, but it was minimal, and I had to dump on them to get paid. Cringe. Also, unless I'm totally misunderstanding this, every new post mints a new coin, which means if I want to earn again, I have to do the same thing again, dump that coin, then the next one, then the next one. Now I'm sitting here wondering, am I launching a new micro shit coin every time I post? Am I supposed to manage all these markets? Because that doesn't sound like creator monetization. That sounds like a stress-inducing token treadmill. Jesse, is this how this is meant to work?
So this will be I'm probably going to quote tweet Brooke later today and kind of give the take on this because I've been pounding the table on this particular part of it where what the worst part about this is, by the way, I know you said they need to fire Jesse. I would disagree. I think Jesse is actually a good builder. I think they need somebody on the strategy side.
That's good.
Base.
He puts out cringe videos that people make fun of.
He built base.
Jesse didn't build base. Jesse's the mouthpiece of the base builders. He didn't build base.
No, I mean, he's the let's just double check real quick. I believe Jesse is the someone correct me if I'm wrong. I believe because he's been talking on-chain summer since like VCon 1 or whatever it is. Yeah, Jesse Pollock is the creator of Base, ETH's layer 2 blockchain. He led the development at Coinbase, working from the initial spark in late 2021 and its rapid launch in 2022 and 2023. So yeah, like that's my point. Like, what has Jesse built? He built Base. And like Base is a good idea in theory. And what they want to do is
it's a great idea. It's an incredible idea. It's had, I think, the worst execution of any layer 2 for all that they have going for them. They have to say they have a top of funnel advantage would be the biggest understatement in crypto. They have a massive advantage, and everything they've attempted to do to bring on these millions of customers on chain, they failed miserably. From NFT markets to base apps, like they created, okay, great. They created base chain and they got a bunch of Ethereum maxis to go use Farcaster in Aerodrome. They've not onboarded anyone new, I don't think. Like they've like their whole mission to onboard a million people or billion people on chain has been a crash and burn. Like I don't think they're bringing any of those users.
It depends how you look at it, because I think like there's both sides of this. So I don't want to just go all
I'm front nails it. Base chain really solid. I agree. It's really solid, but it's been insanely disappointing by executing their strategy. Like,
well, I mean, Do you like? Okay, good. Keep going. Yeah, that's it. Go.
The strategy is to onboard 1 billion people on chain. They're not onboarding 1 billion people on chain with the products they're launching. It's just been very, very poorly done in terms of their native dApps. Everything they're attempting to do to execute this strategy has failed. Like base app in its current form is not going to exist in a year. It's going to be gone. So it's like, okay, you failed at an NFT marketplace. You failed at base app. And dude, this isn't like some scrappy startup. These are funded with millions of dollars. Like, go look at the team they hired for the NFT marketplace and the money they set on fire with that to do like $17 in NFT volume. Like, same thing here. Like, this isn't just like no resources. They have arguably they're the most stacked team in all of crypto in terms of resources and things at their disposal. And I mentioned like reach and that top of funnel, and they just fumble and fumble and fumble.
Yeah,
do something with the chain. The chain's awesome. Do something cool with it.
Well, I mean, they have some cool stuff, right? So it's like, you like Kaito's base. You know, you like Virtual's base.
Actually, I'm becoming a Kaito bear. But
welcome to the club. Let's roll.
I mean, speaking about fumbles, they just.
Oh man, we're gonna go over that announcement for sure. That's
like I got excited about the announcement, the launch pad. It's just like it's a me problem. Stop launching things if you can't allow the US to participate. Or do the proper things to allow you to participate in the US. Like I think our guy Sugar Shane said, like we have a freaking president of the United States has a meme coin, and yet I can't KYC and participate in an ICO because I live in the US.
I want to go Kaito, but I want to put a wrap on I want to put a wrap on base just because there's ethos, there's, I think Paragraph is a cool idea. I think the concept of Farcaster is a cool idea. I know they haven't landed the plane as well on it. Here's what I'll say about it.
Again, I think got what $150 million of funding. Like these, I'm not saying like the ideas, the concepts are incredible. If you factor in how much capital, how much resources, like how much like a competitive advantage they have on everything they do, and they just like, okay,
right?
Like I think except for like the ETH maxis. I
think they're ahead of the game on a lot of things. I'll say this. I want to give credit, and then I want to talk about Brooks' tweet. So to give credit, again, I think Farcaster is a great idea. It hasn't gotten the scale it wanted. I think Paragraph's a great idia. Kaito's on there. It's a good concept. Ethos is on there. I like Ethos. Like I can go on and on and on about the things on base that are interesting.
Sure, but that's a decentralized net. Like that's not base's credit. That's you. That's Serpent. That's builders choosing to build on an L2. I will give them credit. The chain works. The reason these builders are going there because they believe, at least my assumption is they believe in base's strategy and they'll execute it and actually bring some of these billion users on chain. But I don't think we can give base credit for other builders that chose to build their dApps here. I mean, again, the chain is good.
You know how competitive it is to get people on chains, though. Like how competitive the chain wars are. So there is credit there to be had.
If base continues to fumble, I see those like they're not going to remain loyal to base. Would be my take. Like unless they tease a TGE or some other token, like why stay on base? Like most people would say, oh, it's the consumer app. It's retail friendly. I'm going to go there to attract users that aren't in crypto. It's just not happening. Like at some point they have to execute that. Otherwise these builders are going to take their great apps and go elsewhere. There's no moat. Like what keeps them on base other than this allure of, they're going to open the floodgates of 1 billion users. They haven't done it yet. They keep failing to do it.
It feels like they're stuck in the middle a little bit. So the concept of the base app, again, I like the idea of building everything in one place. I like the idea of having this sort of everything in there, right? What I struggle with is I think conceptually the concept of getting paid for your social media posts, and Gary hit this in at the base event that they did, the concept that tipping culture is getting bigger. People want to support creators. You have your money, your apps, your social media all in one spot, and you can use it. I like that concept. Where I think Brooke nails it, and what I've been pounding the table on since Jesse was saying coin this with everything, people are turned off by overly financial products outside of our space. In our space, in Web3, people love it. Outside of it, they don't. And so the idea
here, like I don't like most people don't love this here. People that aren't here despise this sort of stuff. Like, what are you even doing? Like, who thought this was a good idea? Seriously, like,
and that's it. It's putting, and that's it. it's putting a market cap on a piece of content. Look, if you had a piece of content and people could like it or give like an optional, like a like that gives like a 4-cent tip or whatever that thing is, or optional tips, I could see that working. What I'm struggling with right now is I'm struggling to see why why my, the 45-year-old soccer mom that my wife and I hang out with, that our kids are friends with their kids, why they would want to have a market cap on their picture of their kids at the park. Why they want their 13-year-old daughter's Instagram post on base to have a market cap. Why they want their pancake picture to have a market cap. If someone wants to tip or say you got useful things out of content as a content creator, that makes sense. Like,
Agreed.
That is a great way to support, and crypto is so well positioned to do it. It's the how that I'm struggling with.
Agreed. Yeah, I agree with Von Brunton. I don't think you're in a bubble. I do think they're in the process of fumbling a 3-1 lead. If they don't nail something, the Kaitos, the Ethos, they're not going to stay, man. I'm telling you, like, they'll go to Mega ETH because it's going to be faster and more performant. They'll go to, like, Infra is a commodity. Like, you're not going to keep. I'm very bullish on the ETH layer 2 thesis. It's a commodity. Like, having a great performing layer 2 is not enough. It's just not. Like, EVM is going to be far too competitive. You need to have some value prop. You need to have some differentiating factor. Base has it. Like, they have a differentiating factor. They have a value prop that no one else can touch. They're doing a horrible job of actually executing it. Horrible. Like, I would love to know how many users of the Coinbase app have come over on Base and done anything remotely close to like this sort of crypto activity. How many Coinbase users that aren't here on crypto Twitter have used the Base app? And I'm guessing it's closer to 0 than it is 1 million. I'm guessing it's closer to 0 than it is like 10,000. Probably closer to 0 than it is 1,000, Steve. Like, it is just, I think, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills because what they're doing is, it's like conflicts with their stated goal. Like, and maybe I'm just very wrong, but I don't see anyone in my life that isn't in crypto that wants to create a meme coin with Post. Like, it's a turnoff to them. Not only are they not onboarding these billion users, they're launching products that's going to delay them from coming here. Like, they'd be better off to do nothing and ship nothing than ship shit that's like overly hyper financialized that turns people off.
Yeah, it's a crazy. I was trying to figure out a good.
No, I mentioned, like, I'm guessing like they have to age gate it now. Like, your kids probably can't access the Base app, or they shouldn't, right? Like,
yeah,
I don't know what laws are on like creating meme financial instruments and securities. If we're not going to call them securities, I guess, but it's like.
Well, also, like, that's a whole other issue, is like, not that anybody would go back and do this or whatever, but it's one of those retroactive things where it's like, there's a world where this gets more regulated, and it's like the equivalent of using Napster, where we all were like, crap, better delete Napster and all of our music off our computers we got from Napster. But yeah, I just, I don't know. I struggle quite a bit with this. By the way, no, Diablito was joking. I know, he says, so Luca and OpenSea. No, Luca did not acquire OpenSea. OpenSea probably has, I don't even want to count how much more capital than Igloo, which isn't a knock on Igloo. I think OpenSea is just sitting on a lot of cash. Even more now that they're getting those fees on your NFT swaps, buy, sells. Let's hit a little bit of the Kaito thing, because you said you're getting bearish on Kaito. So Kaito had a long announcement the other day. And I'll kind of like try to like give a breezy TLDR if people aren't paying attention to Kaito here. I'll zoom in on this, and then I'll kind of give what my take on it was. So they said
I should have said this earlier. I shifted my normal setup, so I'm off. This is the first time I even looked at my phone in 30 minutes, Steve. I told you that would throw me off. Like, I'm such a creature of habit. No one cares but me. Sorry, I didn't realize. Oh, you're sharing it. Normally my phone that I run Spaces is on this side of my computer, and I moved it to this side today, and it's wrecked my morning.
It's like when you try to do something. I mean, this is the I'm not even gonna say, like, it's like the thing where it's like try to wipe with your left hand type thing. It's like when you or like if you screw your right wrist up, if you're like a righty or something like that, and you try to like throw with your left hand, right with your left hand, it just feels weird having it over there. So TLDR, Kaito gave some updates.
Yes, I'm not an ambidextrous Spaces host, Steve.
Yeah,
I'm actually now. I just caught myself. I'm working my phone with both hands. I have both hands around my phone just because. No reason. Like I don't do that ever in my life, except it's so different than what I'm used to. I don't even. It's like I've forgotten how to use a phone. Sorry, go ahead.
You're not an ambi spacer. Unfortunately, just like Zoolander was not an ambi turner. But no, they said they're going to have leaderboards. They're going to have focus on genuine audience. They're going to try to knock down on bots. They talked about that. I thought that was good. They're going to do some category-based groupings. Try to build a culture of retroactive milestone-based ROI and driven rewards for better provable results. I find that interesting. They're adding some public leaderboards for some specific topics. Great, whatever. They're trying to fight misinformation. Awesome, great, sweet. Like, makes sense. So all that positive. They said introducing G Kaito. I don't know what the G Kaito mechanism means.
I read the thing. I don't even know what it means either. It's confusing to me.
Nobody does. It's provocative.
Not really, though.
But they said it's basically around five core pillars: thought leadership, attention, participation, ownership, and culture. They talked about for those who contribute meaningfully to broader crypto conversation, they'll receive yaps. They don't say what those yaps are going to do. They just receive yaps. Attention for those who bring in new audience. Kaito will actively evangelize the ecosystem. Again, doesn't say what rewards or systems go in that. Just sounds like another leaderboard. Participation for those engaged in the Kaito ecosystem. They'll get access to the capital launchpad. More on that in a second. For holders of stake Kaito and certain related derivatives, they just say that. I mean, that's not even a statement. Ownership for holders of S Kaito and certain related derivative. What does that mean? They didn't say. That's not a complete sentence. It's a fragment. Culture for Yappy Bar holders and PFP users, Kaito culture builders, and active community. Like, doesn't say this, but they say the utilities are going to be earn a share of platform fees, get priority access to deals. So they talked about their deal flow launcher, signal alignment with project partners and the Kaito ecosystem, access to priority features on Kaito. So my take on it, in short, was there's positive natures, negative and neutrals. Positive, they ship quickly. That's bullish for them as a team. They're trying to fight spam and bots and get better signal. Great. I love that. This is neutral, but like, depending on how you think of it, it's negative. They're moving from driving a picture for brands to understand true fans and reward them, and more in the direction of pushing airdrops and deal flow, period. Like, all they're trying to do is move towards deal flow.
That exactly is why I flip bearish. Because I'm going to be excluded from most of the deals. So it's like...
Yeah, I know. I have that in the cons, actually, because I said it, like, it feels like the leaderboards are more vanity tools with a real focus on driving people to the financial products they sell to clients. And this is where it's kind of starting to lean in more in the bearish sentiment for me, too, where it's like, instead of leaderboards to show who's talking about what and be more thoughtful and reward those people and what they kind of initially said they set out to do, they're using these leaderboards as vanity tools to say, okay, like, clients, sell us your stuff. And then I put cons. It doesn't appear there's a ton for someone in the US. Even if I'm a top yapper, based on the KYC, I won't have access to the launchpad. I can't share platform fees. And I'm wondering if Stake Kaito does much for US people moving forward. Given the above, I'm debating on staking because it's only yielded a couple small airdrops. I'm also not super clear what Yappy Barras are going to get here. I don't own one, but I know the holders are getting restless. So to your point, to talk about it in the TLDR, it feels like the US is going to be excluded from the launchpad. The US is going to be excluded from platform fees. The U.S. may not be getting stuff for Stake Kaito or holding Yappy Barras. And instead of being a leaderboard to show signal and distribute and like, hey, if I'm a protocol and I work with you, you're going to run a dedicated campaign and I'm going to get more users and figure it out. It's, hey, how can we use these leaderboards to push people to financial products like launchpads, which, like, I don't know if people understand that early stage investing, that most things fail, but when you're getting in on things like KOL rounds, you've probably already lost because it means all the people you would have gone to early on at better valuations are already in or decided to say no. So I'm not feeling great about that direction of where they're going. It makes me bummed out, but it's not what InfoFi is. And I'm considering, with the amount of money that I have staked on there, I'm thinking, like, the yield's fine and great and all. Might just stake that and pop it in ETH and Bitcoin or put it to work elsewhere. So I don't know. I know you were getting your thoughts. That was a lot of points, but I want to make sure everyone's kind of on the same page of what it was in the interpretation.
Not only am I not able to participate, like, and I know, like, I absolutely can differentiate Kaito from their partners. And at the end of the day, token allocation and, you know, things they launch is ultimately, it's up to the partners. But I'm shocked Kaito didn't put more, like, thought and parameters into their first launch partner, because the first one is pretty disappointing, if you ask me.
I didn't see who was their first launch partner.
Espresso. And I'll show. I mean, Whale funded it. Whale's a Kaito bull. He says, "I hate to be the guy who floods the first Kaito Capital Launchpad project, but we have to keep it real. Here's the details. It's a $4 million raise at a $400 million valuation. 0% unlocks at TGE, 12-month clip, 50% unlock after 12 months, and the other 50% vests over another 12 months. So full unlock isn't for 2 years." At a $400 million valuation, Steve, let's guess how many tokens launched at a $400 million valuation and are still there 6 months later, let alone 24 months later. It's a short list. I'll just say that. So here's the problem. Vesting is very long and valuation seems way too high for that. Valuations from a Series A and B is not disclosed to the public, but a total of 60 million has been raised so far. So I'm no expert, but people smarter than me estimate the post-money valuation of Series B round to be less than 180 million. Maybe it's me, but that sounds like an opportunity and more like exit liquidity. Less like an opportunity, more like exit liquidity. Yeah. Basically, my read is the same as Espresso is using Kaito to create exit liquidity for their Series A and B round investors.
You're the exit liquidity. Like you're the downstream. It's like I said, like it's funny.
Trades at 800 million for 24 months just to, like it's just crazy. Looking at recent performance, it sounds like it's a risky bet. Launchpad round should be very attractive terms with valuation and vesting, rather a smaller raise at good terms than a big raise at midterms. And there needs to be full transparency regarding past rounds of valuation. I agree with all this. I guess it's a great take. I hope they listen. And honestly, I hope they fail to raise their 4 million. I don't wish ill will on anyone, but like the only way this gets better is it fizzles out. It crashes and burns. And they actually don't complete their 4 million raise.
Yeah.
Like don't participate in something that's a bad deal. This is a bad deal. I don't know anything about Espresso, but it's just like for their first one, pretty disappointed that they would come out with this is their first launchpad partner. And I guess it doesn't matter to me anyways, because I'm a US resident and can't participate.
Yeah, it's a couple things about it. Number one, Cap and I, we've had the opportunity to KOL round or two. We turned one very smart one down when everybody remember the handshake one that everyone turned down. Clemente's former employer, and we what a good call that was, right? That was a disaster. I mean, not that people went away.
I mean, it's easy to laugh at now, but at the time, dude, that was like before it imploded. It was like a lot of the most popular,
they got away with it too. A lot of them were like, there was a lot of people.
We're very bullish on that one for a minute. Yeah. We're like, this is not going to end well.
We at the very least saved ourselves a couple months of a headache, not investing in something.
I think no one got burned on. I don't think he ever no one ever sent funds. He shut the whole thing down before.
I think he returned all funds in fairness to him, if there were funds sent. Like I think he did return everything. But yeah, like we got invited into something that ended up being at the Epic said Blast. No, Blast would have been a great investment. It was a KOL round for a company that actually at this point, it's like Ryan Carson launched it. And it was something that he was going to launch a product. Like yeah. And I think Flux it was. We were invited with a lot of other people. It was a really compelling pitch. We thought about it.
Handshake emoji.
Yeah, we responded. We thought about it, and ultimately we decided we didn't love the theory. We walked away from it. A lot of large KOLs investing and at least got a few months of grief for doing so. By the way, congratulations to Stinky Booty. Great name. GM, I just loaded my entire stack and bought my first ever Bored Ape. Let's go. Welcome. Go to Welcome Apes.
Mega sold 100K yesterday too. Or Mega Coda, excuse me.
Yeah, I mean they're cooking, but anyway, point is like there's been a couple ones. So that was one, but then there's been a couple other KOL rounds. Again, I'm not going to get into it because I don't want to air people's business out. One of them is playing out.
You reminded me. I'm so bad at this, Steve. I'm going to have to take notes because I actually have I had a round that was a big win. I already printed on, and I forgot there was one more tranche that I was supposed to claim in dump, and I haven't done that yet. So it's so funny because I can't even do it here. I had to use one of my. I've already said too much. Never mind. Proceed. Forget I say anything. I'm going to take a trip to the Bahamas later today.
Yeah, I like that. But no, it's but yeah, like we
Also, real quick, entire digression. I'm sorry. I don't know why I got on this. I got like so. I do know why. I have a flight credit I need to use before October. Dude, flights are ridiculously inexpensive right now, relative. Like I
Are
get
they?
around to Hawaii for like $400. Like flights everywhere. I couldn't like I can't find a flight to spend on my credit. It's not a business class or something. So I'm like I've got multiple flights I need to book between now and October. It was my Lisbon flight from last year. I couldn't attend Ape Fest, and so I got that big credit. And yeah, like not even two. I could probably book 3 flights almost anywhere in the world for what I paid to fly to Lisbon last year.
Man, you yeah, you're living large. I would
It's a
get
good time
on
to travel. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on, but good time to travel.
until the AI gets involved and knows that you're trying to travel and the Delta exploration they're doing and they just overcharge.
Yeah,
you.
this guy's got a credit. We need to jack his rates up 2x.
Yeah,
Yep.
no, I'm figuring that out as well. But no, yeah, man, I think I completely lost my train of thought.
Sorry,
where were we pre-transgression? I don't even remember at this point. My brain is just exploding.
My bad.
I know we went base app, we went Kaito. Oh, it's all good. It's all good. It's part of the show. It's part of the charm that we bring. But no, I don't know. I guess like my point is on, and maybe I'll just go back to Kaito on it. I'm probably unstaking my Kaito because unless they have another airdrop, which people have rumored, but nobody knows. And if they do and I miss on the surprise airdrop, fine. Floor Slime in the chat says, I unstaked my Kaito a couple weeks ago and went all in on Wrecked. Great call. Like, it's just... Oh, by the way, that Wrecked airdrop for Jupiter is going to be massive, by the way.
This is another digression, but I have to give credit to Jambert in the abstract chat. He says, they just got some capybaras at the Clearwater Aquarium down in Florida. Not only that, Steve, like this could change your entire opinion on Kaito. Actually, if I go enjoy this thing, I might have to buy a capybara just to support. It just opened like a week ago. In St. Pete, we have a capybara cafe. True story. Kid you not. Apparently, it's exploding in the east. Like Tokyo has some. We have the first capybara cafe on this side of the Florida coast. You literally go to a coffee shop and there's like wild capybara running around. Lemurs and capybara. Like this is a thing.
Oh, you're talking about so Dawn's 2 favorite animals on the planet are capybaras and otters. There is a place in Ohio where you can go and have a capybara and or otter experience or separate experiences. They're not cheap. The wait list is months to go. It's like,
so I've been talking about getting into retail. Maybe this is the route I go. They did open one in St. Augustine first. They just opened one in St. Pete, but like, maybe this is what I do. Should I get into the capybara cafe business?
Dude, I'm not like unironically, like Dawn and I would like be all over that as a business. We love capybaras. We love like, I was pissed when the capybara PFP dropped because everyone thinks it's related to Kaito now. I have a secret crypto list I use for people who I like think are like who I keep an eye on in the timeline. It's got like a couple hundred people on it. It's like my check list. It's called Crypto Capybaras just because I love capybaras. And then Yapibaras dropped, and I'm like, everyone thinks it's because they're yappers, and it's not. So yeah.
Not to front run your idea or what we talked about over the weekend, or actually Friday, but maybe scrap that and let's go in on a capybara cafe.
Dude, I would love to run a capybara cafe. Like that would be Dawn's dream job. Like that's a yeah, but the yeah, capybaras and otters are the favorite, and like we've been looking at this like place in Ohio that does it. You know, it's quite a drive, but you want to go to it. Like again, literally sit there with capybaras and otters, and it's a several month wait list.
The thing at Clearwater Museum that Jambert was mentioning, that is a meet and greet to promote their new location opening. So it says a temporary meet and greet visit with capybaras at Clearwater Marine Aquarium continues through July 20th. So it's actually this capybara cafe that is putting on the meet and greet at Clearwater or whatever aquarium. But yeah, lemur. I'm actually more excited about the lemurs, I think, than the capybaras. Capybaras are it's like a large rat, isn't it?
Yeah, but they're cute. They're cute. It's just like they're adorable. Like it's almost like most things get cute when they're smaller. Like you see something get smaller, you're like, oh, it's a mini whatever.
We have to do it. It's
Chat's having a field day with this. We got Cappuccino and Pizzeria. I'll take it. We have Capybara Pizzeria and Laundromat, and we have Coffee with Capybara.
If I could start over my digital identity, I might have to do Captain Capybara.
Dude, I'm telling you, like you're saying, you fudded them for like 10 seconds. You fudded them, then you came back because you realized how ridiculous the take was. I mean, they're adorable. They just don't make sense. Also, they're chill. Like you see capybaras just like rolling around on the back of alligators. You see like large like cats, like jungle cats going after capybaras, and they disappear into the water and you never see them. And like tigers have trouble catching them. They're amazing animals. Yeah, those and otters. And I am also like sea otters and river otters. Love them all the same. Doesn't matter. All the same. But yeah, man, I don't know. It's it's either way, like putting the train back on the tracks on Kaito, and then we can see what else is out there. Because I know we got Think coming on here in a little bit. I guess to me, it's like I think InfoFi has promise outside of Web3. I thought Kaito was leaning in a different direction. Kaito just wants to point people to different financial products they can sell to clients. They're basically using the leaderboard to say, like, congratulations, you're on a leaderboard. You have the right to buy into a KOL round where you are downstream. And by the time it gets to a KOL round, one of the things I learned that I did not invest in KOL rounds last cycle. I've had the opportunity to invest in 4 or 5 KOL rounds. I passed on all of them. And I believe every single one of them either would have been a personal disaster in the sense of the Ryan Carson one, right? Or would have not been good for a few months. Or in 4 or 5 other ones, it would have been a financial disaster because they were all way underwater. Had an opportunity to do one recently where they were like saying, hey, like, here's the valuation for this coin. You can get in. You can put up to $5,000 in this thing. Here's the vesting schedule. Hasn't worked. So I think like those things, like, now it's like Kaito's being like, we're going to give you access to that. I just don't know that that's going to work. So
I would do CrossFit if there was capybaras running around.
It doesn't really sound safe for the capybaras. People are dropping barbells, swinging around, swinging kettlebells at capybaras. So I don't know. I just I find like that idea, like I think like people got so excited about the launchpad. Can we talk about the culture a little bit in crypto on this though? Because I think the culture on the timeline is very, like, we've seen people sharing tweets where everybody has the same tweet about pump fun. Everybody has the same tweet about everything. I think the culture in crypto sometimes is that if you critique, you are seen as a fudder and a bad person. And I think, like, when I saw the launch pad for Kaito, I'm like, number one, the US can't participate. Number two, unless this is super early and really game-changing, it doesn't look like it's going to be a positive product. And I could be wrong, like, right? Like, we may be wrong, and maybe espresso is going to absolutely skyrocket. But I feel like a lot of people who don't know what they're doing or haven't done this before are going to say, sweet, I'm high on a leaderboard. I got access to this pre-sale. And how long until that actually hurts your brand? Like, when people are going in and then losing money, it doesn't feel good. So I just, that product, no X in the US, don't like the concept of it. It's just, I hope someone does InfoFi and actually does InfoFi the way because I think there is so much institutional money to be made at running a B2B InfoFi in and out of Web3. Like, people are so concentrated on this space. Everybody I talk to about InfoFi is like, yeah, InfoFi and crypto. It's like, why would you not build this and test it with a real brand to help them try a campaign just for a quarter to try and launch with their, biggest fans and reward them and get closer to them? I don't know. It reminds me a little bit yesterday about when we talk about, we were talking yesterday to Jason, and he mentioned people with Facebook are saying, why am I having to pay to reach my fans? NFTs and crypto sort of solve this. InfoFi helps solve that. So I don't know why the direction is just more crypto products.
Agreed. Yeah, it makes about as much sense as Base starting their own capybara cafe, which actually probably make more sense than the Base app.
It makes
the capybara cafe powered by Base would onboard more people than the Base app is. Not even exaggerating.
Yeah, the Base app is not. I don't know. I mean, I haven't played around with it, so I want to be, clear about that. But at some point, you need to not coin everything. Like, you can't. Like I said, coin this doesn't make sense. Like, it's just, again, like a 13-year-old posting on Instagram about her softball team doesn't need a market cap. A person posting about their pancakes for breakfast doesn't need a market cap. Again, the tipping culture, by the way, I was probably unclear about this, so I want to clarify because someone in the war mass. When I talk about tipping culture, I'm not talking about the leave a tip for this for every single thing you do. I'm talking about tipping culture in social media, which is the concept of this, where people on streams get tipped, people using social media getting tipped, people, instead of getting a brand deal or instead of trying to figure that out, it's like, instead of running a GoFundMe or a Patreon, the idea that if I'll give you a perfect example. We went on Fly Ride Space the other day, Chris. We talked to him, we streamed with him. I would have tipped Chris for his carousel video. That's an example of, if I could say, dude, this is worth $100 to me or $200 to me or whatever it may be, I would have tipped him on that. That's the idea. If you put it out and I can give it a like, a retweet, and an optional tip button, it's like default tip is like 7 cents. And then you have, a sliding scale on there of numbers and potential tips. The platform takes a very small tip fee, right? Like the platform says, we're going to take a tip fee of, 5% or whatever a small number is on that. Great. But like, or even 2.5%, right? Like a creator royalty or a market price royalty, even 1%. Like, I don't know why this happens on Twitch and other places. I don't know why Base App just doesn't do it that way versus saying we're going to put a market cap on everything. It's not revolutionary. It's not what people want. Like, people think crypto. One thing people don't realize in this space is that while traditional finance and the politicians and Washington are coming along with crypto, people outside of crypto, normal suburban people, still think of Ethereum and Bitcoin the way we think of like high risk meme coins. Like, they're not thinking of these as institutional investment vehicles or the next base layer of the internet. They will one day, but they still look at it that way. So offering people the opportunity to create a market cap around an Instagram post, it just doesn't track with them. I don't know. What else is on your checklist today, Cap?
We want to get a quick market update in.
Yeah, let's do it.
It's not nearly as much yesterday, but still worth hitting.
Let's do it.
The deadly market update straight to your brain. Powered by ApeCoin, no hype, just gains. Moving on 8chain, we bringing the heat. NFTs, fence alpha, never miss a beat. 8chain on top, now we bringing the flex. The home of NFTs, please now what's next? Come on, my head top, but you want the time to chop for one time.
Oh, before I get into this, you want to hear a random thing? There's that concept of feeling like a phantom text in your pocket, and it's not a text, like you feel like it does it. My phone is on my desk, and I felt like my phone was ringing in my pocket. Like, I felt like a sort of like ringing thing, and I go and I'm like, oh, my phone's on my thing. So I just felt like my phone was ringing. It was not. It's time for the daily market update, though, powered by ApeCoin, the home of NFTs. 8chain has it all, bringing culture, fun, and community to the blockchain. Dive in and see why 8chain is on top. Cap.
Yes, sir. Just as ETH took over and all the ETH maxis started dancing, we have Solana season. Solana led the charge yesterday, broke 200, up 5% on the day. Bitcoin up 1% to 119,235. ETH down 3% to 3708. XRP flat at 352. Doge gave up 1% to 26, and Cardano down 3% on the day. Runes, some green over there. We're just going to fly through though. And memes, Pudgy back up 3%. Trump down 6. Bonk down 1%. Pepe down 1%. Sheep down 3%. And as I said, Doge down 1%. Looking at our favorite NFTs, we gave back some of the great run from the day before, although CryptoPunk's still holding just at 50 ETH, 49.88. Autoglyphs, there was a big autoglyph sale yesterday. I mentioned, Coda's not on here, but I mentioned about a 100K mega Coda sale. Apes down 9% to 12.2. Little Pudgies down 8% to 1.65. Moonbirds down 14% to 1.55. Big Pudgies down 9% to 15.2. Mutants down 11% to 1.74. And the DX terminal, that's one of those OpenSea farms. Azuki down 13% to 2.13. Crypto Dick Bucks down 4% to 1.79. And then I mentioned it yesterday. I gotta go back because I called Denzas were underpriced. And indeed they were. We had, if I could find the actual Fidenzas. Oh, that's not going to work. Anyways, big Fidenza sweep yesterday. Several, I think there was like 8 or 9 of them sold, and Fidenza floor flew back up. But that's our daily market update, brought to you by ApeChain. ApeChain on top, home of NFTs in the spotlight. Season 2. You got a little bit of time left to get qualified there. The top 100 will be in the running to win a Bored Ape, and I need to do some grinding to get back in the top 100 myself, Steve.
Yeah, I am not in the top 100. I am not graded it, but cheers to those who are. Love seeing those participating.
So yesterday I said
spotlight.
Fidenzas were underpriced in the 20s. They are now 34 ETH. So is the floor price. So yeah, if you were liquid and took that financial advice yesterday, you're up big today. And I still think even at 34, the ratio still seems a little off from what I can remember, but getting close. So congrats to the Fidenza and fine art enjoyers.
Yeah, you know what's interesting is this OpenSea Launchpad. I need to check on that because they've been doing heavy Launchpad stuff, and I am not like I know I'm not bullish on the mint on the on-chain all-stars. I know a couple of people told me they were and they're interested in them. I know they're not minting fully out. I actually want to see how the Mitchell Chan did, because I think what's interesting is, as OpenSea, you want to kind of be the launch pad and you want to have stuff on a more regular basis. But there's a lot launching on there. And if Mitchell Chan, and people don't know Mitchell Chan, Digital Zones were one of the very first Overture. God, is Overture still minting or not? Let me see. But if Mitchell Chan, who had like one of the first ever NFTs, isn't doing well, which maybe he is, I haven't checked it, then yeah, I don't know what to say. Overture. Oh, okay. So Overtures, I believe, minted. That's funny though, because I don't think there's any volume. I saw the floor price at 8.5 ETH. They minted, so it was a mint, but I don't think there's actually. It says minting now. Oh yeah, it's not minted out. Yeah, I'm curious what happens with the OpenSea Launchpad. Probably another discussion to have, but they've been doing a Launchpad, and I thought they've done a pretty good job with some of the things. But it feels like I'm getting constant emails about things minting on OpenSea, and I'm not sure about the promotion of those, because Mitchell Chan, who had one of the early NFTs, Digital Zones that sold for millions, has a couple of collections, is minting a 0.14 piece of art. These overtures, they're in the public stage now. 152 out of 555. Now his other projects like lower floors, but still were decent. The fact that it's not minting out, like a 0.14 Mitchell Chan mint, feels like it should be relatively high. So not seeing those move around, they're selling below floor price. So yeah, man, like I wonder about, like, when we're talking about silly season and what's coming next, there's a point to this. The point of this being, you talk about Fidenzas and art. I feel like art has a possibility being interesting this season for people as people go into NFTs, but I feel like we used to have degen mints multiple times a day. People are buying, selling, and flipping. The fact that we see multiple OpenSea mints either not selling out or selling out kind of low, and there's sort of a centralized launch pad there for people, I'm not sure what that says about what this season is going to be, but I'm not sure it's going to be, I don't know. I'm not sure it's going to be art. I don't know. Like, do you have, before we bring on, Jesse and team to talk a little bit of, think, I'll continue to ask this question. Any thoughts on what this season holds, as far as, like, if it's not going to be like I feel like NFTs are legacy NFTs are selling, business NFTs are selling. People are even buying things that, like, CloneX, that don't have a real point to them. Where are people going to start going for their? Is it NFT season? Is it just going to continue to be coin season? What are your thoughts?
I think it's quality season. I don't think the low effort. I don't think the low effort NFT mints are going to work. I think, it could be great art, but if it's just art, I don't. There's going to have to be something special to get people excited to mint something new. Yeah, I think it's, and frankly, I'm not saying a launch pad can't work like an OpenSea, but it's just like, it's kind of a turn off because there is so much low effort stuff that mints on there. I think you're like grouping yourself in with a lot of the low effort. This is just a cash grab. This is, I'm going to try to get my OpenSea XP, and I don't know. I think personally where I'm at, I'm looking for not the free degen mints that are going to, we'll forget about in a week. Rather, I'll refer back to Good Vibes Club. Build something, talk about it, get me excited, have an actual, put in months, if not years of work prior to mint, and then sell it for a fair price. I think that's 0.069 ETH. Think agents we're going to talk about, perfect segue. They've been working for years to build something, and they had an NFT mint, and it comes with, some token other stuff, but also token allocation. Like, that's the sort of stuff I'm excited and I'll look for. And I think it's just a matter of time before we see more of that. Although I did mention a degen mint as early as this week. It looks like I don't know, maybe a pre-sale, maybe, I'm not really sure what it is, but I think that the new thread guy, the guy, the account that bought threadguy.eth is going to for pre-sale, asking for a whitelist or allow list or something. So we could see a spoof TGE parody type mint here in the next day or two.
Yeah. I
may have some fun with some of that stuff, but I'm not excited. I don't expect any of those to be real winners. I expect the real winners to be like the think agents of the world, where they've spent years building, and the mint is actually, part of their raise, part of their capital raise. It's helping fund their operations and help them build a sustainable business.
Yeah, this is why, and we'll get more talk. Maybe we'll talk a little bit more after we bring on our friends over at Think. But I find myself,
Aquamarine for the win. Sorry,
that's late. I find myself thinking about, again, is there something to start now? Which actually, because it wasn't. We're gonna bring on two builders here in a second, which will be, it's almost a good transition to them. But if the season is for the builders, I do find it interesting to say now might be the time to actually build for people like yourself and myself who actually want to build businesses. Because I think a couple years ago, it was just hype, announcement of announcement. Now it feels a little better, but
I'm hopeful. I'm cautiously optimistic that that's the season we're getting into, to where it's not about how many botted followers you have or how good of a trailer video you can pull together, but actually, what are your credentials? What is your background? Have you built a business before? Have you had a successful exit before? That's the sort of stuff. I don't want it to be gated by the Kaito Capital Launchpad. Just come to market with that, and let the people who want to support you support you. I'm hopeful. I mean, maybe it got born today, Steve. Maybe it's Cap's Capybara Cafe gets funded by the Capybara token.
I like that. I like the idea. But let's bring on some of my favorite capybaras. We have Mikey, Felix, and Jesse jumping on to discuss Think. Now, we're excited about this. Obviously we've worked with you guys a little bit here, but we're excited to see that it is TGE time. Couldn't have timed it probably any better, but
tomorrow
it's market's going pretty well, but it's more than just TGE. So for those of you maybe who don't, obviously we've had you on the show before. We've done the whole intro thing, but I think it's important to remind people what you're doing here, especially as we see more and more questionable stories coming about AI, more and more questionable stories about data going out there. Remind people what Think agents are and why you're building it, because it's purpose driven in addition to being sort of, an opportunity for people to just get a TGE.
Yeah, I mean, it's AI you own. That's it. You're either renting your AI or you own it. Pretty simple. So we build and we have partnerships to where you can run local AI. You're starting to see the models are getting small and fast enough, and the computers are getting fast enough. I wish Mike was at the office, because right now he could show you his entire setup where he's running everything locally. So he's running our agent builder and our agent browser, which we haven't even announced until this actually right now, in tandem on his own machine locally with the internet off, which means all the data from the browser and all the data from the agent builder is all staying with him. And for all of our friends in crypto, in order to make performant agents, it has to see everything on your computer and everything you look at on the internet, which means you're probably going to want to hold on to that data. So that's what I would say. It's AI you own. Mike, what would you say?
Yeah, it wasn't possible to do that at least well when we were on here 2 times ago. Last time it was just becoming possible. We just got DeepSeek. We finally had a model that was like, okay, this thing could work on your local machine. And like, that's how fast things are moving here. And so like, you know, it makes sense that there would be a lot of AI tools out there that would like want to do a lot of things. But like where we're at today is like, we actually have AI you can own. We actually have an NFT that represents your agent. You can think about like a domain name back when you wanted to have an internet site, right? Like that's your AI's name, address, wallet, encryption, decryption key. So a lot goes on in there, and then that can connect into an application you've got on your computer. We call it a mind. The first mind that we have right now is running pretty well. It's got you know, kind of the industry standards of like LangChain and Llama Index underneath of it, with this really cool editor on top. And it's all coming together. So it's a pretty exciting week. We were up at 2 a.m. talking with folks in Singapore. So if you see me rebooting, that's what's happening.
Yeah, we were doing the KuCoin space. Guys, I would say, you know, 2.5 years we've been at this. Like you were talking about, Cap, for tomorrow. I think it's 5 a.m. tomorrow we go live, right, Felix? KuCoin finally announced it, so we could say that.
5 a.m. PST.
And so somebody, I mean, you guys, we've known each other a long time. Like it was really the first 2 years was building the consortium. Right, the Independent AI Institute. There's over 60 companies in there: Render, Morpheus, you know, Venice, all those folks. Getting everybody to agree to standards, right? Because without standards, you can't actually do anything. Even right now, there's actually an entire group of people, Other Page, Von Doom, some other folks that are actually creating the standards for 3D avatars so that they can actually move between worlds. Like first, we had to get everybody to agree on standards for independent AI. Now we're actually working on the smaller group of people getting standards so we can actually like have our 3D avatars go as agents, but also between worlds, all that kind of stuff. And now that was kind of set up and we got standards, then we can move on to all the stuff we're doing with the tool stuff on the Soul side and even on the browser side. And then the third kind of journey for us that's happening right now is we're also incubating those 3 companies on top of the standard. So all 3 of those things have kind of stacked to get us here with our TGE tomorrow.
I want to hit on a couple things there because you gave some alpha, and I don't want to just be like, hey, here's a browser we didn't announce till right now and just pretend that you didn't just say that. So both Cap and I perked up when you said that because we've been thinking about this as the next evolution of what a browser should be, a smart browser that the same way you use AI. Because I mean, like, how often do I use AI to just analyze the difference between 2 tabs that I have open?
That's right.
2 things. So talk about the browser and give the details on what you're working on there, because that seems to be the next iteration of AI, and you're out in front of it.
Mike, you want to talk about your build? Like the one that you're using?
So this is definitely alpha. It's alpha and in alpha. But essentially what you have is like Chromium is the thing that underlies Chrome, the Chrome browser, right? So what we've done is we've started working with 2 developers that kind of have the best in class system set up right now. And we're actually meeting with them again tonight, and we're going to do some filming of this. But we've got a Chromium browser that has AI baked into the side of it. So you've got all your permissions. It's a new one, so it doesn't have to use your current one. You don't have to give it access to your MetaMask keys, but you can have MetaMask in there. You can pull in AI through the sidebar, and you can actually talk, and it's agentic. And so actually behind the scenes, it can spin up multiple threads, and it can actually do these tasks. We're gonna have to work on speed over the next couple months here. But like to start out with, it's like, wow, this thing actually works. It actually pilots my machine. It actually allows me to use it. And it's cool because it's in a standard, right? Chromium's the standard that we're kind of all used to. And so this is going to feel like your normal browsing, not like some sort of magic something else, which I think is a really good
thing
all
your
to get
plugins
started.
you already have. So,
yep.
You know, MetaMask, all that stuff just pulls straight in. And like the most important thing though is this is all running locally on his machine. Yep. Right. So you guys have seen us talk about Souls. We actually have a killer promo coming out for Souls. If you go to actually our Twitter, you can see a demo we did yesterday of Souls, of an actual whole agent that was built in Souls. So I think about it almost like that's our builder and our browser. So you build in the builder, and then you put those agents to work in the browser. All of it happening locally, all of it happening privately.
A couple questions related to this. I think one, as you do this, how do you compete with these sort of Megillas, like, you know, the sort of, you know, open AIs of the world who are just, you know, because they have your data, they're using your data. And, you know, I never feel safe that it knows that much about me. It's just I've trained it so much about me. And it's almost a thing where it's like, you have to use it to be good at your job, whether it's OpenAI or whatever it is people use, Claude, whatever they want to use. But like, how do you compete with one that have this sort of like big head start where people have familiarity?
Yeah,
Open
so
source.
yeah, adoption's always going to be this curve, right? And you're going to start off at this little teeny piece right here. Like right now, we've got 50 builders that meet every week. Those 50 builders are learning how to build agents like what Jesse's showing here. Jesse, if you want to hit, can you hit full screen on that?
Oh, this
by
is
chance?
Cap.
Oh, Cap's on there. Cap, can you hit full screen by chance?
The USA
Because
jobs
what you can
listing
see
form,
here
Cat, mute
is
the-
will
mute the
extract
video.
a list of skills from that agent or from that. From
Cat,
that
you don't have
job,
video?
and then
I
it
can
will
explain
search
it
the
if you
web
want.
using Tavily.
If you want to put pause.
There we go.
There we go.
There you go.
Okay, so this is really nerdy looking, right? It's like, what kind of Star Trek science is happening here? But this is actually how agents work underneath the covers, right? Like, it's like, okay, well, what models are we going to use, and what exactly is going to happen? And so, like, these systems are actually way more advanced than like when they call it an agent on OpenAI, but they also look more clumsy right now. But what we have is we have 50 people learning how to use this, and they're in a spot where they're the builders, right? And so they're building new agent flows that are going to be mapped underneath this whole thing so that other people can use them, right? Think about it like a marketplace of agents. And these are the people that are probably going to get hired to be consultants, right? Because like OpenAI is not going to show up and do that great of a job. But the guy who's actually recording this was one of the first people ever to actually put agentic AI in corporate settings. And he did that through customer service, because customer service for a long time has been one of those roles and those jobs that's very automated. But you have to have, good systems, and they have to be built really thoughtfully. And we just identified how good he was at that. And when we brought him in to start building these things, like this is an example of one where, because he had access to like an API for government jobs, he basically went through and made an AI that identified jobs that could be automated. And then he said, what's a list of the jobs that would most likely that I could go make money by applying for these things, and then having the agent do it instead of getting, $4,000 or $8,000 or whatever dollars a month that I would get from this job. I could just have this agent do it. I could send in the report. It's all remote. I can automate it. I can Doge it myself, I guess.
Love that. No, I think it's interesting. And the idea of being local on your machine, I think people maybe underestimate how important that is to keeping your privacy and keeping everything in order, right? I mean, that is the secret sauce. Like, you're going out and finding the most relevant information, you're feeding it, and then you're also keeping it localized so that I don't have to worry about, I mean, how often do we see, whoops, data leak, you're in trouble, like, and that's what you're protecting for here, right?
That's right. And also keep in mind, you guys, like, everything we do is open source and everything we do is composable. So why is that important? There's no lock-in, right? So because everything is composable, so there's a mind, body, and a soul, almost like how Iron Man had a suit, he had Jarvis, and he had himself, right? And so all of a sudden his suit could get destroyed and he could put on a different suit, or like Jarvis could get messed up and they could like re-upload Jarvis. So what that means is lock-in is becoming a huge problem. Like, let's say you signed up for Claude for a year and you've had it for a month, and all of a sudden OpenAI is doing something faster. You're like, crap, I already signed up for that. Oh, my stuff is there, and then I can't move my stuff over from here to here. And all of a sudden, a lot of people you talk to them, they're like, I use OpenAI because everything's there, but I'd love to try this, but I can't. Everything we're doing is composable. So you can, download a model and be running it locally, and the new one comes out tomorrow. You just swap out your model, but all the agents you built downstream just click straight into it. Does that make sense? So the composability thing and the local thing, I think, are big. The other thing is, like, if you just download our open source software, what's your monthly cost on that? Zero, because you're running your own inference. So what we're kind of betting on is, like, what if we just give everything away? What if we just give it all away? Now, if you want an agent that can interact with other agents and you want to like monetize it, you would go and buy an agent from the foundation. But the money from that, the vast majority of all that money outside of our hard costs, go back to supporting the floor, right? And so I would look at it kind of like, if you're like, hey, I don't have a ton of money, I want to run this stuff locally. It's like, cool, download it. You can run all this stuff locally. What's your monthly cost? There isn't one. And our real goal there is to get like a flywheel going by just giving everything away, Steve. And then our hope is that we'll get engineers that go, well, shit, I want to build on that standard. So that's why we stood up the incubator, and we already have the first 3 companies. Like our homie with Von Doom, we actually were just with Von Doom at his studio last week. I don't know, it's all kind of running together. And we actually just did a podcast with him about what we're building with him at Command Line to make agentic games. There's a doc on him coming out today, which is pretty fun. It's fun to like dive in with our friend Von Doom and get to know him. We have another company called Augmented Imagination that's allowing you to build your own tuned model. So like right now it's really hyper focused on like illustrators and designers that like maybe have like 20 years of a back catalog. You'll be able to upload that and just fine tune your own model that you personally custody and no one else has access to. So in essence, you can work with yourself, right? Which is pretty cool. And then the third one is almost like a money boat we're building with our friend Chris Stipek, who's the one that like did the Cash App and stuff like that. So those are the first three companies we're incubating around this open source free ecosystem. And then our hope is it's almost like WordPress or something where like if you get enough people around it, you know, the only way to compete with the powerful few is by organizing the mini, right? And the mini needs to be able to get access to the tools for what we would say is like no cost, low cost. Anybody can run it. So our strategy is like the dandelion strategy of like we're just open sourcing this stuff, we're giving it all away. And if you hit a point where you want to kind of take it to the next level, then you would buy an agent, and that agent, the money from that agent goes back to supporting the floor. So we're just trying to create this loop between it all. And then our hope there, Steve, is that, you know, enough people go, hey, we care about this, that they get behind it, start supporting it as a standard, and then everybody starts building around it. That's the only way that we can take on, you know, Goliath is, you know, like a whole group of us.
Yeah. Go ahead, Cap.
I should say, you mentioned just real quick, you mentioned Von Doom and Command Line. Like one of their games, Bathroom Blitz, is launching soon. It's one of the first other side games.
Yeah, exactly. And it was cool too, because what we're talking to them, we did like an hour and a half long podcast with him, Cap, and it's just fun. A lot of people don't really know Von Doom yet, you know, and he's just such an interesting person that it was supposed to be like a 20-minute interview. It went for like an hour and a half, and we uploaded if anybody wants to check it out. But he's talking about his history of how he got into games and out of publishing and music and all sorts of cool stuff he's done. And then we end up the last half, we talk about where video games are going and why making agentic games is so interesting. And it's pretty cool. Like we mapped out the first game that's coming. We don't talk about what it is yet, but I'm super excited about it, and I think they're going to crush it.
When you say agentic games, can you expand? Like, are you in your mind? Like, I'll tell you what. I envision these open worlds, and the NPCs are actually not just NPCs. They're actually smart agents that are as good or better than most human players, and they evolve and they learn. Is that? I mean, is that? How would you define
that? That's definitely one of them. Do you want me to do it? Yeah. So that's one of them for sure. And so think about like you're in Grand Theft Auto and there's all these missions, right? Think about how hard it is to do that today at scale of what GTA is. Like there's a reason why they're having to pause it for another year, and there's a reason why they'll probably blow through their $1 billion budget. We are actually dealing with space so big, right? If you think about every other side land plot, every land plot in every metaverse, right? Like how are you going to fill that with things? Actually, AI agents will be in there. Those AI agents will understand you and your background and your story, and they'll create a unique quest for you at that time to learn a lesson that you needed to learn. And probably along the way, they'll probably generate some 3D objects that get set up in different locations. And so the world becomes emergent that way. It becomes emergent around the lessons needing to be learned by the characters in those worlds. And that becomes a really interesting world. Like it actually starts to trip you out a little bit because, like, I mean, I'll just say it like last year, Greg shared, Greg from Yuga shared a picture that I put together and said like cooking with friends, and like showed how we kind of put the first INPC in the other side in the play tests. And that was really cool because what we essentially were able to show is like, hey, these agents actually can be in here and they can do really interesting things. And I'm excited as we work with Von Doom to see that whole thing level up and to be able to actually like build teams and put people around doing this at a really big scale. But the thing that you'll see in this documentary that I think that everybody here is going to be interested in is called Proof of Win. There's actually like a protocol here that's actually interesting from both, an AI gamer or from a gamer Web3 side, but also from an AI side. And what the training process is called reinforcement learning is what you're doing when you're on Instagram or when you're on OpenAI and you click thumbs up, thumbs down, or heart. Is basically the system is learning because you like something. You perform an action that rewards it, kind of like I get dopamine and then like I eat an ice cream cone and I get fulfilled. So then I learn like, oh, do that thing so you can get ice cream. Games are core to learning. Like there's a reason why kids learn so fast on games. And so what we actually do is we're actually designing right now a protocol in which two players can enter and they can put their stakes up, right? Maybe it's 50 cents, maybe it's $2, maybe it's $20, whatever people want to do, right?
Call it Von Doom
but
tokens, right?
yeah, but because it's on chain.
Von Doom's
you have
ape.
this-
Von Doom's ape. Von Doom's ape. will
Yeah,
put up,
that's
for
right.
example.
Yeah, that's right.
You essentially have the game as an oracle, and it's keeping data, it's keeping telemetry data around like real people doing real competitive things, hard things that don't happen that often. And then you find out who the winner is, and the winner has no incentive to cheat because they've got stakes in the game. They lose if they don't. And so proof of win actually both allows you to be able to game competitively against each other, and it collects signed, verified, tagged data for AI training. And so like the amount of companies that have sold training data on driving, synthetic driving to Tesla and others is just massive. Like there's a whole $1 billion industry around it. Imagine a protocol emerging from our community here that can actually like let's say that Palmer Luckey, he's like, hey, we need to defend ourselves against drones because China can make a fuck ton of drones, right? What if we created a drone video game? That's not the first one we're talking about, by the way, but they can get all that data that can put the brains of the world, of the brains of America behind like, hey, how do we defend against this stuff? How do we, and can actually create AI models that can help us even be safe in real life. That's just an example. And whatever your politics are, sorry if that's treading on them, but it's important.
And Cap, I think about this, John or Mike's thinking about like long-term, short-term, it's John Henry. So me versus an AI, right? Me versus an AI and say a game of Risk. I put in 3 Von Doom tokens, and if I beat the AI, I get the pot on the other side, right? That's the first type of games we're talking about. The second type of games we're talking about is my Think Agent goes up against Cap's Think Agent, right? And there's a pile of tokens behind that. And in essence, you get rewarded for solving the puzzle or being able to beat the boss, which is coming up with a new strategy, right? And the cool thing is that data you're creating also has value, Cap, and that's also custodied by your agent. So excited for the stuff we're doing with Von Doom.
You guys put in my head the idea of like these agents, your AI is like as children, and it's our job to raise them and develop them and help them evolve and grow up. Like that concept gets really exciting for me in the world of gaming. Like though I enjoy games, I'll play some NCAA football. I'm looking forward to other side. I'm not a big gamer, but the idea of building a productive agent that can be in this world and participate and yes, quest and do that stuff, but frankly earn on my behalf, right? I think there's opportunities in these worlds that we might see more and more of that, and the possibilities get me excited.
Oh, dude, it's one of the reasons why we did the deal we did with Futureverse is because they had a bunch of tech we needed. They have a thing called the Murmur Matrix, which is like what we would call like an agent card, so you can actually take your information between metaverses. They actually had the patent on taking your NFT and making it agentic, and we didn't want to like go build a bunch of stuff and then get sued. And so we got all those patents and all that technology, that whole stack, so that we can do that kind of stuff you're talking about, Cap, in the future. Right now we're super focused on launching Souls, which is like, again, the agent builder, and getting the browser out there for folks to be able to like at least start building things and doing these cycles. But like people have to understand there's still like so much that has to happen here just to like so everybody really understands how this stuff is happening. Like when I said that like there's a committee of us right now figuring out like what the 3D standards are so that you can even take like your Meebit between worlds or to have it be like an agent that we can use, that's happening right now. So like it's funny in Web3 because sometimes we talk about this stuff like we think it's done, and it's like, dude, there's not even standards yet for how to like move your 3D models from the other side, the Futureverse, to our ecosystem. And the cool thing is we have people like Other Page and the team over there, like really heading that charge. But like there's so much infrastructure that has to happen to get to the place where we all like imagine this could be, and literally the funny thing is, guys, most of it is relational. So it's literally going like, Other Page team really need you to meet Aaron. I need you to meet, like we're doing this stuff all the time so that everybody knows each other, so that everybody can create a shared standard so we can start to build things that work.
Yeah, a couple things we always end up. This is hilarious. This is the third time we've had you on, and I think every time we have a stated purpose, but I love talking to you all so much that we end up going completely in different directions. So I promise we're going to get to the actual purpose today. But like this concept of like even in the AI gaming sector that you mentioned, where it's like people like the shared experience of going through a thing, but having that other option of like going a different route, having smart sort of, AI integrated with that, or even the idea that you mentioned the idea of something stored on your own machine. It's like you find a more creative way to beat a boss. Your, system stores that and says, hey, we hadn't thought of that before. That's completely novel. And then you have that as something on your machine is interesting.
And I'm willing to sell that, Steve. I'm the first one to beat Contra in 5 minutes. Do you want to know how I did that? Cool. This data is all tagged and ready to go. Would you like to purchase that?
Yeah, up, down, up, right, up, down, left, right, left, right, A, B, select, start. Obviously, select start because I want to do a 2-player, obviously, with 99 lives. But no, I'm with you. Like, it makes me even think about, like, my brain starts going a million directions, and I think about the idea of, like, one thing I'm obsessed with that I've just never chased down that I've considered just, like, diving into is the idea of, like, individualized AI education. Like, I want to teach my kids how to use it, but it's like, the idea that like my son learns differently than my daughter learns differently than his best friend, you could have something that when you pump the same data in, it's smart enough to know how to train you a little bit differently and get you to get to the answer and then retain it. And not leaning on it to give you the answer, instructing it to give you the answer, but to help you think to get there. That's one of the reasons I think these like I don't know. I'll get your opinion on this, and I promise we'll get the train back on the tracks. Is that I've had this conversation where people say like, well, people like I do have this thought on like I had this commentary years ago on Google search that we're losing that you go in your filing cabinet of your brain, you index something and use that aha sensation of finding it. And a lot of people are using AI to replace that. I think there's a world where you could use AI to teach you how to do that again, where you the sort of governor you put on it, so to speak, is that it doesn't just give you the answer, but it helps you think to get there, and it is smart enough to know how to get you to do that. So I think it could actually reverse that Google of not indexing your brain. Curious your thoughts on that concept, because what you're talking about right now is this idea of building that and the individualization of that I think is interesting.
Dude, Steve, what you're talking about is super important to me. Like, I'm very dyslexic. School was a fucking nightmare for me, right? And mostly when I don't know, we're probably in the same ballpark of age, I would guess, right? When I was younger, there was no like, oh, we understand what dyslexia is, and here we have some really great tools to help you through that. It was literally, sit there, shut up, you're just stupid, right? Now the model can tune itself almost to your unique like vibration of how you learn, right? And so all of a sudden, Steve, you would walk in and the model would be teaching, your daughter completely differently than she would teach your son, right? So for instance, like with dyslexia, there's something where like they'll like little things like if you're reading, you skip lines, and if you take like a ruler or like a piece of paper and put it underneath the lines and then pull it down while you're reading, there's like little things that all of a sudden it would know that. So it would be feeding you like a line at a time that they wouldn't be doing that to a kid who's maybe not, neurodivergent, right? Now, here's the sad thing about education. So there was actually a school that was really leading in AI, and I went down to, I won't say who it is. I went down there and talked to them about this stuff of like, hey, what if these kids had their own agents and they could custody their own data? And it didn't go anywhere because the school wanted to custody the kids' data. They did not want the kids to have the data, right? And it was a real bummer for me because now we're trying to figure out like who would allow a kid to custody their own data so that it can be tailored to them. Because right now, at least with the first school we talked to, they were like, yeah, I love this. I love custom education. I love that. Except we want to see all the data, right? We want to custody the data because we think there's a lot of value in the kids' data. And we're like, well, we're not going to work on that. Right. And so the future, I think, is when your kids own their data, they own their own AI, it knows them inside and out. Because, I mean, Steve, can you imagine, dude? Like, if you can be like, I think it was in 8th grade in class, they were talking about this, and your agent can pull that right back to you and say, yes, it was Miss Johnson. It was 2:45. She said this. And you're like, I got that now. Right.
8th grade. Can you tell me what I had for lunch yesterday?
You see what I'm saying? Like you see where this stuff is going. It's going to be your forever. It's going to be like your shadow. Right.
Yeah. It's very interesting. And that's the concepts like that are super interesting to me because I think that is the world changing way it can be, where it's like, it has the ability to index and it's not necessarily stopping you from using your brain, but actually encouraging you to use it differently.
Well, and Steve, but here's the problem. Imagine all that information it saw you grow up is being used by Google or somebody to sell you shit.
Yeah, that's the dystopian future right there. It's like they know everything about you.
Everything.
And then they, I mean,
and it can be used against you in court. So keep in mind, right now, OpenAI is going to court with the New York Times, and it came out through discovery that OpenAI keeps everything you say to it, and it can literally be used against you in court.
Even if it was deleted.
Right?
They have all of it.
So it's like utopian scenario. If your kid has all their own data, they can pull back these memories. The scary part of that is you think you can get canceled now? You know, I know for a fact when you were 9 years old, you said this thing. That's all documented, and Big Brother has that.
Yeah.
And like when we were kids, there was a reason we all got milk, and that the dairy farmers of wherever you're from were the ones that were making your health curriculum, right? Like when you get into a spot, like education is one of the biggest industries there is in the world, right? Like it's as big as war, if you like about as big as war in America. When you look at what it takes to educate all those kids, when you turn that into a for-profit AI, like I cannot wait. I want to incubate these things, right? And so we already right now have somebody that has been in education for a long time. We're not going as ambitious as like we're replacing school, but he's looking at contentedness and having a teacher that can help somebody find contentment. So we'll be talking about that later, but super early incubation. But like, this is what we need to do is we need to plant these seeds in people's minds. So they're like, oh, I've actually studied that for a long time. And that's actually a passion of mine, because like every week we have people coming up to us that are like that. And that's one of the reasons the incubator's there is this is like the early days of the .coms, right? It's like, well, what can you build? Well, there's going to be a shop for everything. If you can get in front of like Gary Vee used to talk about, if you can get in front of a camera and get people excited, like you're probably one of the people on the team. If you're a person that can build that thing out and get the first version, like that's where we're at right now is like, it's the gold rush. It's how do you get your picks and shovels to go get your plot of land and start building it out? That's like literally the time we're in right now. And when you say, how do we compete with the big guys? It's like, because we're all going to do it.
Dude, the valuable thing, Steve, you guys, we got a spot coming out tomorrow called Don't Sell Your Soul. And pretty much it's just trying to dramatize that every time you use centralized AI, it's copying you. Like, how did Cap solve this problem? How did Steve solve this problem? You know, what are his references? Like, you're literally copying yourself. Like, I think we might have even talked about this on the show last time we were with you guys, but we were sitting next to that executive from Amazon on a flight. And she was saying that at Amazon, you have to use this specific type of AI because it's literally training itself on how you solve problems. It's why you keep seeing like Microsoft laid up another 7,000 people. Amazon, it's like, why? It's like, well, they already copied your unique algorithm, right? So if I can run something for, I don't know, 45 cents of electricity a month that can help me solve a problem the way that Steve would, and it's 99% as effective, why you know what I mean? It's more
well, it's
than
the same
just
concept as like our buddy Bunchy who built Billy Bets. It's like he built Billy Bets because he's a tremendous sports bettor who beats Vegas. He's kicked out of casinos because of it. Like, you can't bet in certain places. Creates Billy Bets, and in this case, it makes sense because he's creating a tool that people can say, "Hey, I want to bet on the Buckeyes on Saturday," and it's like, "Here's 5 props we like or whatever, you know, to make you enjoy the game more." But basically, he clones himself, but takes the emotion out of it, the mistakes out of it. He's not going to be like, "Oh, I can't bet against Penn State. That's my squad."
Monetized himself, which is great.
It's his digital
because
twin.
It's Billy. That's him. He should be able to do that. The scary part is like if somebody went in and took all of Billy's stuff, monetized it, and then Billy woke up and was like, wait, they took my algorithm and MGM is printing money with it. I got nothing. All we're trying to say is don't sell your soul. Like, hold on to your data, hold on to your essence, right? Because it's going to be incredibly clear later on that you shouldn't have just like uploaded everything to the board.
Yeah, that makes sense. And that is the thing I think about sometimes, like the value of AI. It's like the value and peril of AI is copying yourself at the same time. It's like this weird paradox where it's like me creating another version of me. Like, I've trained it to think and write and do some things like me, which is super helpful if I'm doing a live read in the morning and I need to spit something out that sounds like me, that's hitting the right audience and all these things. Like, I've trained it to do that very well. But it's like, you know, at some point, there's a point where you're sort of, it's like training your replacement in some ways when you're at a job, and that becomes a little scarier. That said, I do want to talk snapshot TGE and the turkey that people are going to want to talk turkey with, because I know a lot of people out there in our audience have some think agents. They're excited about it. I know I will talk to you guys until noon, but you have work to do, I know. So let's talk about the news of the day. So you announced TGE. You announced the snapshot. You got that art coming, that great art coming. You got everything.
Oh
People love
man,
those bundles.
Steve?
I've got like bundle 51, maybe, I think. So I'm
Oh,
excited.
sick, dude. The artwork is fucking crazy, and you're gonna get a really good look at that today, right? I'll just tease that out a little bit, but like the artwork is fully on chain. It's fully interactive. It's so unique. There's like several different, like I think there's 6 different kinds of styles inside the collection. So like everything is like a one of one style, like unique digital soul made by Basic and the team. And so like I got to see the preview of it, and they're fucking fire. So just purely from like if you're an art collector and you care about on-chain art, this collection is called Digital Souls, and it's absolutely wild. And you're gonna get stoked on that today. I'll just leave that at that. But like, so that's happening. Felix is the man with the plan when it comes to all things TGE. What do people need to know?
Yeah, so I just pinned a tweet up in the space with some of the details, but TGE is in less than 24 hours. In 22 and a half hours, we go live with KuCoin. Some of the technical stuff is we have 7, I think, and there's exchanges coming on and confirming. I think we have 7 exchanges that are going to like list it throughout the week as we start to. I call it like the snowball effect as we get more momentum with it. But KuCoin's the first one that we're listing with. 5 a.m. PST, 8 a.m. EST tomorrow. If you held a Think bundle or any of the basic art, there was a snapshot around this time yesterday, and that is going to be the first part of the claim. There's a second phase, which there's another large community at the intersection of Web3 and AI called Asto from Altered State Machine. They're going to be able to convert their tokens 72 hours after TG, so in around 4 days, along with any people that participated in Alfie XP, which was like the OG community with ourselves, our Alfie Founders Pass. So they're all in the second phase. So that's kind of the technical stuff. Excuse me. Yeah, that's the big stuff. A couple of things that I will touch on is we've got a pretty interesting staking dynamic. So we've got monthly staking rewards. This will all happen through the thinkagents.ai website. So it's our own staking dashboard. There's monthly staking rewards. Pretty typical. Stake your think, stay in for that cycle, get the rewards at the end of it. You can pull it out anytime. There's no lockups. But we do have a second pool to incentivize people to stake, to support and reward our earliest contributors and community. So if you stake your entire claim, so by whatever means you can, at a minimum, you can add more tokens if you want. If you stake that, you go into a second pool in additional to the original monthly staking. And that's a 90-day kind of lockup. And at the end of that 90 days, there's 1% of the token supply being distributed to whoever stays into that pool. It will be live on the dashboard. You'll be able to see how that happens. So if you're bullish on this, to reap the most rewards is claim everything, stake it all, check back in 90 days. On the website, we have an FAQ that has like 5 different scenarios and models out what that could look like. But it all comes down to how many tokens are actually claimed and then how much is staked to figure out like the APR on that. There is 2 interesting things that I'll point out, and Jesse touched on it earlier, but some buyback mechanics. So we're good friends with the Render Network. They've got a huge token, a successful Web2 business backing it, where they take a chunk of that revenue and they buy and burn tokens. It started with a conversation with the Basic team where they do behavioral mechanics. So for those that don't know, we paid them tokens to do this artwork, and they decided to just delegate all of that back to their community and their art holders. And so as we were figuring out exactly where the art was going to land on what collection, they proposed that all royalties from the collection that held their art go back to buying Think tokens, which we agreed to. So royalties aren't a huge revenue source these days. Maybe they come back, but that's a commitment we have on that side. There's the most simplest way to say this is most measurable way for us to grow our network is to mint agents. So we've sold over 10,000 agents, kind of wholesale, and we're gonna throughout this next week start announcing prices. So here's the alpha. We're selling them wholesale $50 a pop if you buy more than 500. We've sold, like, they're included in the bundles as well. So we've got over 10,000 out there at that price point. They'll be retailed $99. Every time an agent is minted, like, that's us growing the network. The whole idea is to mint as many agents as possible. The vast majority of that is going to go into a buyback program of the Think token. So the whole flywheel, looking at Hyperliquid and a bunch of other projects that have these buyback mechanics, we've been talking with institutional investors and whatnot. And as and I think you guys could probably resonate with this, as more traditional investors get involved in crypto, they're looking at mechanics, and how is, like, the meme aspect is hard for people to wrap their minds around. But if there's a buyback mechanic, no different to like stock buybacks, and there's an actual revenue source driving this thing, people can understand and get their head around it. So that's a big one. And then the last one, and there's a lot of information to consume, but this is one of the more exciting parts, is the think tank. So on day 91, we're going to roll out the think tank. So after this staking window closes, and essentially the basic art is going to be a token gated access to that. It will be prorated based on how much think you stake, but you need to hold the basic art, of which there's only 2,022 revealing today. That will give you access, and you'll get an additional pool of Think token rewards for that. But we've got two different other streams of tokens going in there. One is partnership communities, where we have the independent AS2 with 60 plus companies, talking with them about getting them to contribute tokens, either as a marketing aspect of their TGE, or they're very well established communities that want to get onboarded, like what we would call power users, 1,000 plus users that are actually building agents at the intersection of Web3 and AI. And then the other one is these incubator projects. So we touched on that. We've got 3 in the hopper right now, with dozens more lined up. They're all going to be launching tokens, and we're going to get, I'm making a number up here, but something we'll call it like 5% of the token supply, feed that into the think tank, and then that will get distributed monthly. So as a holder that's staking, you will get a basket of rewards monthly. You get think token rewards, and you'll also get other ecosystem partners. So it's a bet on, shouldn't say a bet, but it would, yeah, we'll say it's a bet. It's a speculative bet on the entire decentralized AI space. And that's something that, like I said, day 91. So there's a lot of things,
So
TG.
let me play that out a little bit. So if you want to get in early on the Von Doom ecosystem, you will get access to that through the think tank before anyone else at the lowest FDV, right? If you want access to the supermodel stuff and their token early, you will get access at the lowest FDV through this, right? So whenever we launch a company that has a token, the earliest people to get that token, it will be happening through that. And there's only 2,022 passes that will ever give you access to that thing, right? Also, don't gloss over the fact that since Felix said it, I can double click on it. That art reveals today, right?
Yep. I'm in the chat with Magic Eden, and it's confirmed. All the art's been uploaded, so we're just waiting for everyone to wake up, and we'll figure out exactly what happens today. But it's as someone that worked at Proof Collective and did grails and dozens and dozens of, like, the biggest Web3 artists, had the pleasure of spending time at Rafiq's studio, and worked with Beeple, and spent time with Matt from CryptoPunks. Like, on-chain art, I have a huge respect for, and what is going to be revealed here is not only on-chain art, but it's dynamic, as in you'll be able to click on it not only with your mouse on a screen, but with your finger on a iPhone or a Samsung, and it's on chain and dynamic that you can move it around. And like, the interesting part here, and there's going to be some really good storytelling that comes off the back of this, but like, the prompt was, what would a digital soul look like? And that's what started. It was a question, and now we have this whole thing.
The collection is Digital Souls, yeah.
Yep. And this whole thing where the artist is giving potentially, we'll see what the FDV and how the token launches, but hundreds of thousands of dollars back to their holders. And they do a bunch of behavioral mechanics and crazy stuff. And then all royalties going forward. Like it's really cool. It's nice. It's very rare that, I see non-extractive moments in this space, and to see people giving back in this sense and actually just wanting to do something cool that lives on chain forever. And they just more like, I just want
to. And Basic's never done a collection near this size, right? It's 2022 of these, right?
Yeah, the biggest collection of unique pieces was 100. That all had burn mechanics, and that's less than 100 now. They did an edition of 500 that also got burn mechanics around it. It's all deflationary. So this is their largest collection by far, and that's why it came with some provisions with some pretty interesting behavioral mechanics, which we were totally supportive of.
One thing I should say is Machiavelli Del Cruz asked a really good question. He said, wait, $50 agents. If you have a bundle, you're going to get 2 agents airdropped to you when the platform goes live. So I think Machiavelli, it looks like you already have a bundle. We're not, you're good. And the reason we're giving you 2 is so you can have 2 unique personalities. So Cap, if you want one that's helping you with your fitness stuff, and then you want one for business, you'll be all set. So we wanted to make sure everybody was set that way. So if you've got a bundle, just rock the bundle. Again, just to unbundle it, you're going to get your tokens, right? You get the artwork. The basic artwork is your ticket to the think tank. And when Souls goes live, you'll be airdropped 2 agents. That's what comes in that bundle.
There you go. So artwork today, TGE tomorrow, stake it for the rewards and the potential opportunity. Cap, imagine this. How many times have we said that there needs to be a plan for a TGE and not just drop a token and the only thing to do is sell it? So you have this here, which is really nice to see. Opportunity to get access to the think tank and actually, what's that?
On TGE day, no less.
Yeah, on TGE. Not like, oh, by the way, sellers be damned, like a week later. It's like actually thinking through what tokens should do.
And Steve, if you claim, Felix, this is still true, right? If you claim directly, it doesn't even hit it doesn't hit their wallet, right?
No, it will. It'll hit your wallet.
Okay. So pretty much you guys can claim, if you have a think bundle, you can claim straight away. And if you have the extra stuff, like Tarva Gems and all that kind of stuff, it's on Saturday, right, Felix? There's like 2 different phases.
Yeah, 72 hours later. But there's also one thing I will say. A lot of people, I've as someone that's done lots of different drops in Web3, there can obviously be a big rush at TGE or at mint time. We're in the middle of summer break here in the US. Lots of people are traveling and whatnot. So the claim window is 90 days. We've given everyone lots of time to claim it. If you want to maximize your staking rewards, you just have to claim and stake in the first 14 days. So it's not a huge rush to be first in line. It's 14 days. And if you staked on day 13, we'll retroactively give you your staking rewards from day 1. So again, it's not a huge rush. We want to make sure that we get as many people in before we take off. So that's the process though.
Awesome.
But literally, Steve, here's the next 24 hours. We got a documentary about Doom coming out. We have a commercial for Souls. We have the basic video coming out. We have the art reveal. It's just like, bang, bang. And then on Thursday, we're rolling out a demo where you can see our browser in action as well. So we are heads down.
Yeah, I love that. Well, look, I mean, big 48 hours coming up. I mean, even more if you consider going till Saturday through. And then, yeah, I mean, best of luck with the launch. Obviously, we'll be involved. I'm excited. Like I said, I think I have a bundle 52 or something like that. So, pumped for that as well. And yeah, looking forward to continuing to use my agents. Like you said, 2 agents. I mean, you kind of described it perfectly. I'll probably have a health and fitness agent, and I'll probably have a business agent. And looking forward to playing with the platform and working on some bleeding edge tech. So thanks for coming through this morning, and looking forward to hearing more about it.
Dude, you guys, I appreciate the support for so long. Like for us, this is like a huge day, right? Like, it is when you work on something for years and then you finally get there. So just shout out to you and Cap for always having our back. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, no, thanks.
Is it okay if I
go ahead, Mikey. Mikey, go ahead.
I want to say one last thing, because I think it's really easy, because AI is such a common meme going around, to not think about the structure here. And like when you register for a .com, like there's like almost 1 billion .coms out there, right? And that money goes somewhere. That goes to a place called ICANN. They're the infrastructure that kind of made the internet possible by being the trusted middle source. With AI agents, we don't need a trusted middle source, but we do need a protocol. And so when we're saying you register an agent for, if you buy more than 500, like we're thinking about people are going to be buying more than 500 of these because they're going to be doing these at scale for business. Could be much, much bigger than what the .coms are, right? And so we're trying to build this so that when this network grows, it gives back and it essentially puts money into the think tank in the middle of this thing so that it self-perpetuates. What if you didn't need VCs to be guys that are writing checks in Silicon Valley? What if actually the core protocol itself reinforced the behavior of growing itself? And so like when you really if you draw it out on paper and you actually look at what's going on there, I'm like, damn, that's beautiful. So they're talking about how beautiful the art is. I'm thinking about the math of systems design here. And I'm like, ooh, I like it.
I love it. Mikey also, I was just saying how much I like, the way Mikey explains things and the way he's like charming, excitable, and really smart. So I love it. And I feel like your beard and hair gets longer every time I see you. So
Crypto Jesus.
Yeah, like a little crypto Jesus, maybe Animal from the Muppets action going on. I like that.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of.
That's so accurate.
Yeah, in a complimentary way. That was not meant as a shot. Love it. But no, thanks, gentlemen. And yeah, looking forward. I'm looking forward to playing around with it and rooting for the continued success.
Appreciate y'all.
See y'all.
Appreciate you guys.
See you in Vegas.
Yeah, see you in Vegas. Good stuff, man. I like those guys. I don't know. I like those guys. Mikey's like, I mean, I like all of them. It's just the way Mikey explains things. Like he'll be talking about incentivizations and he's like, the same way that you did something as a kid, you got an ice cream cone and then you had a positive effect. So you kept doing that thing. Like when he says it, he just explains things in a way that I enjoy, sort of like the analogies. They bring you back where it's like you're getting really deep into coding and heady AI stuff. And then he just drops this like casual, the casual, like, the ice cream cone analogy, and it brings everybody back down to earth. So I don't know. I'm excited.
Yeah, likewise. I did apologize. I've been a little slipping on the spaces. I saw we had a request come up. I don't know. Jesse, I see you're still on the audio spaces. No obligations if you've already headed out. But Dave, did you have a quick question for Jesse or the team?
No, I just wanted to come up and second you guys with the way in which Mikey talks about these beautiful analogies and roots and trees and how ideas grow and how amazing it is. I'm a big fan of this Think Agent team and I'm super excited for it. And I just wanted to come up and say what's up to the boys, say what's up to you guys. But yeah, I'm hella excited. So no, if they already bounced, no worries. But thanks, Cap, for having me up, and Steve.
No, appreciate it, Dave, and appreciate you tuning in and listening. It's cool, man. It's fun times, and I'm yeah. I mean, look, TGE days are fun in general for a lot of reasons, but I'm there's a solid chance I'll be staking day one in my agent and kind of using it. But I think they described my use case as business and health and fitness. Those will probably be my two initial use case agents. So yeah, I don't know, Cap, if you have any thoughts on that or any thoughts on anything else before we let everyone sail off into their day.
No, enjoyed the conversation. Looking forward to it as well. I feel as if I was looking, I must have closed the tab because I feel there was one other, I think I pinned it up top. I felt there was one other news item to at least fly over, but I have lost it. Wasn't, I mean, it does seem like the mostly consensus is not a fan of the Kaito launchpad, capital launchpad. I don't think it was Kaito related.
I hate the Kaito launchpad. It's so counterintuitive. It's like you're now going to be like farming. You're essentially like posting for money, and now they're going to be like, "Hey, you want to take that money and reinvest it back in here?" I don't know. I feel like that's the craziest idea ever, but I feel like people are going to do it. I don't know if y'all actually covered it already yet, but I think that's wild.
Yeah, I'm largely out on it. I probably can't participate because I'm in the US anyway, but also like it's downstream money where there's VCs and people who have already made their money who are like waiting to,
that's my biggest pushback is I saw like ICO Beast was defending it, I guess.
I think ICO Beast, it's real quick before you read it. That would be kind of odd because ICO Beast is one of the people who's nailed on KOL rounds before. Like, and that's basically what this is. I'm going to comment on it and say that.
I mean, I think Whale even said this is gaslighting. I think he might be My read is he's vested. He has a vested interest in Kaito succeeding. I think he's defending the wall here. Like this is just not a great deal. It's not like my response was 400 million isn't early stage investing in my opinion. They've already had multiple rounds. This is like 400 million for something that hasn't even launched is just I don't know. Like I don't think it's a good deal at all, and I think there might be some bag defendors, maybe potentially of Kaito, maybe of espresso investors. I don't know, but yeah, I
actually think Beast is super smart. He sees around the corner pretty well, and he's been right about a lot of things. That said, I mean, he quote tweeted the Kaito announcement yesterday, or I mean, yeah, he quote tweeted the Kaito announcement yesterday, and said it was 9/11 for the AI bots and farmers or something like that. And I was like, aggressive. Also, yeah, I guess that they're gonna look for farming and AI content, but like, I also think the problem is like we covered the announcement, but it's like, okay, they said that they're going to try to stop botting and misinformation. They didn't say how they were going to do it. They didn't say what they were going to do. That's awesome, but like saying you're going to do it and seeing it in practice is different. Great. I'm glad they're prioritizing it. I think it's cool. I don't think it's anything definitive until we see the results of that yet. And the rest of the announcement said, like, there was a fragment of a sentence to be like community, people who own Yappy Bars. And it was like, investment, people staking Kaito. Then what? There's like a statement of yes, like, it's like, to me, it's like, really excited to have this positive announcement for people wearing Nike hats. So there's going to be a couple categories. One, people wearing Nike hats. Cap, that's me. What do I get? No, that's the whole announcement. Like, there's no then. And so I just don't think there was a lot yesterday. It was a very long post that didn't say much outside of we're going to try to combat some bots. We're launching a launchpad. We're going to share some revenue, probably, but not exactly saying how much. We're going to give access to a lot of revenue, probably not so much. You're going to get some early access to products. We're not going to say exactly what those are. I mean, it was very vague. It didn't provide a lot. And so I'm not, again, not overly excited about the announcement. It made me more bearish, similar to what you're saying. And I'm almost certainly unstaking my Kaito. I'm going to think through it strongly today, but unstaking that and selling it's like the money I would use from that is much, I think. And by the way, unstaking and staking has become an increasing pain in the ass. Like, I've unstaked a couple of things recently and it hasn't like paid attention to them on my software, and it's marking them as capital gains of the unstaked amount when that's what I staked. So need to figure that out. But anyway, we shall see. But yeah,
not really. I mean, just a quick flyover. But there was another crypto kidnapping. Belgian barber lied about being a successful crypto trader to impress a pretty woman. Woman invites barber to spend weekend in her luxury flat. He walks into a wrench attack trap. Attacker's upset to learn he held $6.71 of cryptocurrency.
Is that real or is that just a joke? Like, is that like a parody post? I mean, it sounds like parody. $6.71.
It's from thetimes.com. I think this is a real UK publication. I mean, they thought he had millions, if not billions of dollars. He was just fake flexing, and actually did not. There you go. Yeah, this is, seems to be a real. Yeah. So don't flex your crypto wealth, and certainly don't flex your fake crypto wealth. Nothing good will come from it.
Good news is I'm a horrible trader who doesn't do a good job at this stuff, so I'm in no danger. So there you go. Look, that said, be careful out there. It's like self-custody and the ability to kind of it is again something that I've always been pretty cognizant of as far as like what you're flexing and where it's at. So be careful out there. It is on chain. That said, let's let everyone sail off into their day. I think good conversation with the think folks this morning, the Kaito stuff, the base app stuff. I think we're kind of on the same page on all of that, which we aren't always on the same page with this stuff, but I think we're on the same page in general. we'll keep sailing through on this thing. Looking forward to TGE, see my basic art reveal and getting through on that. But that said, we'll let everyone sail off in their day. Go ahead.
Birthday for Pudgy Penguins anniversary, four-year anniversary for the Pudgy Penguins. That was the other thing I at least wanted to acknowledge, and congratulations to all the Pudgies out there, the whole huddle at large. I guess I'm an honorary member now with my little Pingu bag, but I'll leave you with this. This was we don't even need to discuss it, just something for y'all to think on today, how different the world would be, how different the huddle would be, what the multiverse where not Luca, but rather Beanie bought Pudgy Penguins. Something interesting to look back on. If you weren't here, Beanie made a public offer to buy Pudgy Penguins for 500 ETH. And I would actually, you know what? We should have Cool on someday to get the story from his perspective, how that exactly went down, because it was Beanie was the public offer. I think people thought when the deal got announced, I think there were some people thought it was Beanie, and then Luca got in behind the scenes. Somehow they came to agreement, and ultimately the rest is history. But yeah, the alternate reality where it was Beanie, not Luca, that bought Pudgy Penguins.
Maybe Cole wouldn't include my fucking pickle in the deal, and so Beanie said no. Who knows? We don't know. Yeah, let's But no, thanks everyone who came through this morning. I think good stuff. And yeah, man, it's Pudgy Penguins, man. What a journey. One of those comeback stories, which we may be seeing happen with Moonbirds as we speak at the same time. So we'll see.
Love to see it.
Yeah, love to see it. Glad I have a Mythic. Wish I had not my Moonbird still. I sold it at the right time, but it's one of those. Not the right time, but at a time. We'll talk to everybody bright and early tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern time. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, everybody.
Thanks for tuning into Coffee with Captain, powered by ApeCoin. We hope you enjoyed the show, and remember, nothing we discussed today is financial advice. Until next time, keep exploring, stay curious, and we'll see you soon. Have a great day.
Welcome to the future.